I still remember the sound of our front door slamming that night. It wasn't unusual for Dan to come home late. Work always needed him, or at least that's what he said. But the way he entered the house felt different. Heavy, defensive, like he was already bracing for a fight. Our 6-year-old son, Noah, had been asleep for an hour. The house was quiet except for the low hum of the dishwasher. I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my emails, reminding myself, like I had for months, that I wasn't supposed to overthink things, that real wives trusted, that good wives didn't snoop. Dan walked into the living room and immediately dropped his work bag. It hit the floor with a thud. "Why are the lights all off?" he snapped, rubbing his forehead like he'd had the worst day in the world. I blinked. "Because it's 11 p.m., Dan. Most people are asleep." He sighed loudly, blaming the room, the day, the universe, anything but himself. "You don't have to start with your attitude." That was it. The argument that shouldn't have happened. Fights like this don't come from nowhere. They come from guilt. "Why are you yelling?" I asked quietly. "I'm just tired, Emily," he shot back. "You always want something." "What do I want?" I whispered. "Your time? Your honesty?" He rolled his eyes and reached for his phone. And then I heard it, the buzz, a vibration on the table, sharp enough to slice through the tension. He glanced at the screen. I did too. Can't stop thinking about tonight, meters. My whole body went still. Before I could breathe, he lunged for the phone, knocking a coaster off the table. "Don't start," he growled, panic flickering across his face. "Whose meters?" I asked, voice shaking. "No one," he snapped, too fast. "Coworker stuff, work chat." But coworker stuff doesn't come with a heart emoji. He stormed into the kitchen, pretending to look for food he didn't want. I noticed his coat pocket looked unusually stuffed. When he went to the bedroom to change, I checked it. 2 receipts, both from expensive restaurants we never went to. Both on nights he told me he was working late. Both for 2 people. And the worst part? His favorite dish, the one he hadn't asked me to cook in months, was right there on the item list. My hands were shaking so badly the paper crinkled. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't dramatic. Something real was happening. But when I walked into the bedroom, everything inside me froze. Dan's phone lit up again, and this time, his lock screen changed right in front of me. The picture staring back wasn't mine. And the truth behind that picture would destroy everything I thought I knew about my marriage. For a second, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. Dan's phone lit up on the nightstand, just long enough for me to catch the image before it faded. I stood there in the dark, my breath stuck in my chest. It wasn't our family photo. It wasn't Noah. It wasn't me. It was her. A woman with chestnut hair pulled into a loose bun, the kind Dan always said he loved. She leaned into him like she belonged there, her cheek pressed against his in a way that made my stomach twist. I didn't know her name yet. I didn't know her story. But I knew this. She was comfortable enough to be on my husband's lock screen. Dan stepped out of the bathroom, towel on his shoulder, humming like nothing was wrong. He froze when he saw my face. "Why are you standing there like that?" he asked. I forced the breath. "Your lock screen changed." He hesitated, half a second, but I caught it. Then he forced a laugh that felt glued on. "Oh, come on. Someone at work messed with my phone during lunch." "It's a stupid joke. Relax." Relax. That word, sharp enough to cut. "You're lying," I whispered. He exhaled dramatically, like I was the problem. "Emily, seriously? I just got home. I don't have the energy to babysit your insecurities right now. I have work in the morning." Work. That was his shield. His excuse for everything. He moved past me with a look I'd never seen before. Not guilty, just annoyed. Like I was inconveniencing him. Like my suspicion was the real issue, not the woman on his lock screen. When the bedroom door shut behind him, I sat on the bed, clutching the receipts I'd found in his coat pocket. My heart stuttered as I looked down at them again. 2 expensive dinners, 2 people. And the worst part? His favorite dish, the one he hadn't asked me to cook in months, was printed right on the bill. On the bottom of one receipt, scribbled in messy handwriting, next time, same place, meters. My stomach twisted tighter. I looked at Noah's framed school photo on the nightstand, his little smile staring back at me. Like even he knew something was breaking. My fingers hovered over Dan's phone. For years, I avoided this moment. I told myself good wives trusted. Good wives didn't snoop. Good wives didn't go looking for things they didn't want to find. But the truth was already in front of me. I picked up his phone and unlocked it. The hands trembled so hard the phone nearly slipped. And what I found wasn't a few flirty messages. It wasn't a new crush. It wasn't recent. It was deeper, older, a trail that stretched back far longer than I could have ever imagined. Dan hadn't been betraying me for months. He had been betraying me for years. And the proof? It was hiding in a place he never expected me to look. A place that held the version of Dan I was never meant to see. The screen lit up so brightly it felt like it burned into my eyes. My hands were shaking, not the kind of trembling you can hide, but the kind that makes your breath go thin and sharp. I had to gird a phone with both hands just to steady myself. One tap on messages, and there it was. Not a name, just an initial with a heart. M-I-Y. My stomach twisted hard enough to make me swallow a gasp. I opened the thread, and the dates nearly took me out. 2024, 2025, 2026. Years I was pregnant. Years I was healing. Years I believed he was stressed, not cheating. Every swipe carved another piece out of me. The newest message sat at the top. Meters, tonight was perfect. Same time tomorrow. Dan, you make everything feel easier. 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 Than his wife. Easier than his son. It was like being punched in the chest. I scrolled further. Messages from nights he claimed he was working late. Messages sent while I was rocking Noah through a fever alone. Messages he typed from the bathroom while I set the dinner table for a family he clearly didn't want. Then, the first crack in the lie appeared. Meters, HR moved me to your floor today. Finally close to you. HR. Her. Work. My heartbeat felt like it was echoing inside my skull. She wasn't random. She wasn't a fling. She was woven into his everyday life. Of course, the excuses increased. Of course, the overnight client meetings started. Of course, Thursdays became his late shift. I scrolled faster, desperate, terrified, furious. And then I hit a part of the thread that hurt worse than anything physical. The emotional betrayal. Dan, you're the only person I can talk to lately. Meters, you deserve better. Dan, sometimes I think about what life would have been like if we met first. Dan, I sleep better when I'm with you. I sucked in a shaky breath, pressing my hand over my mouth, On the nightstand, Noah's little school photo caught the glow of the lamp, his crooked smile, his proud sticker. He trusted us. He trusted him. My eyes stung. I forced myself to scroll all the way to the beginning, to the first message he ever sent her, the moment he crossed the line. And when I found it, my entire body went cold. Not because of what he wrote, but because of what was right underneath it. A small gray text, a location tag, just one word that shouldn't have been there. A place no husband should ever be texting another woman from, his office, during a time he had promised he was somewhere else entirely. And that one detail, it rewrote every year of my life with him in a way I was nowhere near ready for. That word didn't just sit on the screen, it screamed at me. Dan had told me he was running a late errand for the team that day. I remember because Noah kept asking, Mom, is Dad coming back to read tonight? And I kept saying, any minute now, sweetheart, while clearing the dinner table, completely unaware that my husband wasn't out doing errands. The location tag showed something else. He was inside the office, at his desk, texting her. My heart thudded as I scrolled, like I was watching my marriage break in slow motion, frame by frame. The first message was harmless on the surface. Dan, Congrats on the move upstairs. Let me know if you ever need anything. But even through the screen, something about it felt warm, too warm. Then her reply, meters, careful what you offer, I might. Not a coworker-friendly line. A test. And he didn't hesitate. He stepped right into it. I swallowed hard and kept going. What came next were short messages, random compliments, stupid jokes, late night you up, texts. Nothing explicit, but everything intimate. And mixed with them were my memories of that same week. How he barely touched his dinner. How he rolled to the far edge of the bed. How he kept repeating, "Work's draining me." Work wasn't draining him. Lying to me was. Then one message hit like a punch to the throat. "Dan, love that top. You looked good today." Meters. Guess someone noticed. The worst part? The same day he sent that, I'd asked him if he liked the new blouse I bought for his office event. He barely glanced up and said, "It's fine." Fine. Mine was fine. Hers was, "You look good." I wiped my eyes and forced myself to keep reading because now I needed the truth more than I needed air. And then the tone shifted. About a month in, the flirting turned into opportunity. Meters. We should get lunch sometime. Just us. Just us. My blood ran cold because that week Dan came home talking about team lunches and onboarding activities. He looked me in the eyes and said, "It's just work stuff." Then I saw the proof that it wasn't. A photo. Their lunch. At the upscale spot he always said was too expensive for casual meals when I asked if we could go. And there she was, sitting across from him, smiling like she already owned his attention. I stared at her face, and something clicked. Something sharp. Something familiar enough to make my entire body go still. I'd seen her before, not on his phone, not in the office. Somewhere closer, much closer. This woman wasn't just a coworker, and she wasn't a stranger, not even close. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her name, Mara. Every message, every lie. By 4 a.m., the house felt too quiet, the kind of silence that makes your heart beat louder just to fill it. I went to the kitchen, the fridge, the only light in the room, and Dan's phone, sitting exactly where he left it, or maybe where he wanted me to find it. I picked it up, heartbeat in my throat. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped it. But when I opened the messages again, something new was there. Something he must have missed deleting. 3 messages from Mara. "We're running out of time. Be careful at the office. If she reacts badly, you know the plan." The plan? My stomach twisted so violently I had to grip the counter not to fall. This wasn't cheating anymore. This was coordinated. I backed against the fridge trying to breathe when I felt it. A shadow, long, stretched across the floor toward me. And then his voice, calm, too calm. "Couldn't sleep either?" I froze. He was standing in the hallway, but something was wrong. He wasn't breathing normally, too soft, too controlled, like he didn't want me to hear how fast his heart was racing. Like he was the one caught, but he smiled, that fake smile he always used when he wanted me to doubt myself. "Why are you up?" I whispered. He shrugged. No blink, no emotion. "Don't go to my office today," he said. Just like that, out of nowhere. And that's when I remembered something. A detail so small I ignored it earlier. Yesterday, when I was putting laundry away, his office drawer, the bottom one, the one he never used, was locked. For the first time in 8 years. My skin went cold. "Why?" I asked. He stepped closer, shadow swallowing mine. "You don't need to be there, just trust me." Then he walked past me, slowly, deliberately, like he didn't want to startle me. But as he turned the corner, something clicked. This wasn't an affair. This wasn't a mistake. This was a plan. And whatever they were hiding in that locked drawer at his office wasn't about cheating, wasn't about Mara. It was about me and what they needed me out of the way for. I didn't go back to bed. I couldn't. Every part of my body felt electrified, like my nerves finally understood something my mind wasn't ready to accept. Dan didn't want me in his office. Not because of work, not because of Mara, because of whatever he was hiding. So the moment he left for work that morning, without a kiss, without a goodbye, just his usual calm, perfect mask, I grabbed the spare key, the one he didn't know I still had, the drive. The closer I got to his office, the heavier the air felt, like something was waiting for me inside. When I pulled into the parking lot, I noticed something strange. So where was he, and more importantly, why tell me not to come here if he wasn't even coming himself? Back when we still trusted each other, the building was silent, too silent. His office was colder than the hallway, as if the AC had been left on all night, or as if someone else had been here before me. I went straight to the bottom drawer, the one that had been locked for weeks without me noticing. I knelt down, exhale shaking, and slid the key in. It clicked. My entire chest tightened. I pulled the door open, and inside, there weren't files, there weren't receipts, there wasn't anything normal. There was only a black notebook, a prepaid phone, and a printed photo, face down, as if someone didn't want the face to be seen. My hand hovered. I flipped the photo over, and the world stopped. It was me, standing in our kitchen, from behind, taken through the window, at night, at an angle only someone standing on our porch could have captured. My throat closed. This wasn't about cheating. This wasn't about Mara. This was surveillance. I grabbed the notebook next, flipping through the pages. Dates, times, notes about my schedule, my routines, when I was home, when I wasn't, page after page, tracking me, studying me, planning around me. My fingertips went numb, and then the worst part. The last page had a single line written in Dan's handwriting. "She's starting to suspect. Move the timeline up." Timeline? Move it up for what? Before I could process any of it, the prepaid phone in the drawer buzzed. Once, twice, 3 times. A message. I looked down. The sender name made my heart stop dead in my chest. Mara. And the message was just 4 words. "Is she at the office?" I didn't plan to go to Dan's office. I told myself I wouldn't. I told myself I'd stay away like he warned. But warnings mean nothing when your entire world has been turned inside out. And by noon, my hands were shaking with so much adrenaline that the only thing I knew for sure was this. If Dan didn't want me near that office, that's exactly where I had to go. The building was quiet when I arrived, too quiet. The receptionist's desk was empty. The hallway lights flickered like no one had walked through in hours. His office door was closed, but something felt off. The blinds were drawn. Dan never closed his blinds. My throat tightened. Every instinct screamed to leave, but I pushed the door open anyway. It wasn't what I expected. No chaos, no dramatic reveal, just wrongness. The room felt staged, too clean, too organized, like someone had wiped away whatever used to be here. Except one thing, a stack of papers on the desk, crooked, as if someone left in a hurry. I stepped closer. The first page was blank, but the second, my heart slammed into my ribs. It was my name, in bold, center of the page. A file with my name printed on it. I didn't even get to open it, because that's when I heard it. Footsteps, fast, urgent, coming down the hallway. I froze. There was no time, no closet, no exit besides the door. The footsteps got louder, then my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, hands shaking so violently I almost dropped it. A new message. From Mara. He's coming. Get out. Now. I stared at the doorway. The footsteps stopped. Right outside. Right on the other side of the door. And then the handle slowly began to turn. The handle turned so slowly, like whoever whoever was on the other side wanted me to hear it. I backed away from the desk, breath caught in my throat, palms sweating so hard the phone nearly slipped from my hand. The door clicked. Half an inch, 1 inch, 2. I had seconds, maybe less. There was nowhere to hide, no furniture, no corner, no time. My eyes darted around the room, then landed on the only possible salvation, the narrow gap behind the open door. If I moved fast enough, quiet enough, I could slip behind it and pray. The footsteps shifted outside. I didn't think, I just moved. Pressed myself against the wall, sliding behind the door as it opened wider, wider, wider. The hinge creaked. A shoe appeared first. Black. Polished. Dan's. He stepped inside. I pressed a hand over my mouth so tightly my nails dug into my cheek. He walked in slowly, like he knew someone had been here. His eyes scanned the room, the desk, the floors, the air. Then he spoke, but not to me. "I know you came," he said softly, voice calm, in a way that made my stomach twist. "You shouldn't have." I held my breath until my lungs screamed. He moved closer to the desk. If he turned even slightly, he'd see me. He reached for the papers, the file with my name. It was still slightly out of place from when I touched it. He frowned, and that tiny shift, that 1 second, was all I had. He reached for his phone. I slipped out. Silent. Precise. Every inch of my body trembling. I slid across the wall, through the crack of the doorway, and into the hallway. I didn't breathe, didn't blink, didn't think. I just moved. I made it 3 steps before my phone buzzed again. Too loud, too sharp. In the silent hallway, it sounded like a gunshot. I jerked it out of my pocket, trying to silence it. Dan's voice thundered from inside the office. "Hey!" The scraping of his chair, the slam of the file, the rush of footsteps charging toward the door. I ran, not gracefully, not quietly. I sprinted down the hallway as Dan's footsteps exploded behind me. "Stop! Right now!" I hit the stairwell door so hard it banged against the wall. I practically flew down the steps, gripping the railing to stop myself from falling. Above me, the door burst open again. His footsteps followed, closer, faster, angrier. When I reached the ground floor, I didn't slow down. I pushed through the exit and nearly collided with someone standing outside. A woman, wide-eyed, out of breath. Mara. She grabbed my arm so tightly her nails dug in. "We don't have time," she whispered. "Dan knows you saw the file." I swallowed hard, air burning my lungs. "What's in the file?" I choked out. Mara looked at me with something between fear and guilt, something that made my skin crawl. "It's not just about the affair," she said. "It's about what Dan and I plan to do next." She pulled me toward the car. "And why he needed you completely out of the way." Mara slammed the car door shut behind me before I had even fully sat down. "Buckle your seatbelt," she whispered, hands shaking on the steering wheel. "If he comes out that door, run or not, he'll catch up." My fingers fumbled over the buckle. "Mara," I said, voice cracking, "tell me what's going on. What plan? Why would Dan have a file with my name on it?" She didn't look at me, not at first. She just pulled out onto the road, too fast, tires squealing. Her eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, again and again. Only after we turned a second corner did she finally speak. "You think I'm the villain here," she said softly. "You think I stole your husband." I swallowed. "You did," she let out a breath. "No, I didn't steal him." Silence. She gripped the wheel tighter. "He offered himself." My chest tightened. "Mara, but that's Not why I came to your house that night. Not why we started talking again. Not why he panicked when you entered that office. My pulse hammered in my throat. Then why? I whispered. She slowed the car just enough to make me feel the dread settle in my stomach. Because Dan was planning something, she said. Something that involved you, Noah, and money. A lot of money. I stared at her. But money? She finally turned to look at me, and the guilt in her eyes was real this time. Your life insurance, she said quietly, cold. The words hit me like ice water, spreading through my veins. My what? He changed it, Mara said, voice trembling. Told the adjuster you signed the update. I didn't sign anything. I know. The world blurred for a second. My hands went numb. He told me, Mara said, swallowing, that you'd been acting unstable. That it was only a matter of time before something happened. An accident. A fall. A crash. I shook my head over and over. No, he wouldn't. He would, she said. And he was getting desperate. The deadline for the payout, it's close. The words wrapped around me like black smoke. No, I whispered. No, this is insane. Then Mara looked me dead in the eyes. He asked me to help him create the alibi. Silence. A silence that didn't feel like silence. It felt like falling. You're lying, I said, breath shaking. Her voice didn't lift, didn't crack, didn't shift. I wish I was. I felt the car slow. We weren't at my house. We weren't near my neighborhood. We weren't near anything. Mara, I whispered, why are we stopping? She swallowed hard. Because before you decide what to do next, there's one more thing you need to see. She parked. She put the car in park with trembling fingers. She turned her head toward me. Her expression was haunted. Dan wasn't planning this on his own. My throat tightened. What do you mean, on his own? Mara inhaled deeply. He has help, she said. My stomach dropped. From who? Her answer came out as a whisper. From someone you trust just as much as he does. Mara didn't move. She just stared at the police report shaking in my hands, the one with my name listed as the suspect. Filed 6 months ago. Filed by Emily, my own sister. The same sister who braided my hair before school, who held my hand at our father's funeral, who promised she'd never turn on me. My legs went numb. Why would she do this? I whispered. Mara's voice cracked just slightly. Because Dan promised her the same things he promised me. The same things he promised every woman he thought he could control. A house, money, a fresh start. A fresh start built on ruining me. Something inside me didn't break. It sharpened. What did they accuse me of? I asked. Mara swallowed. They claimed you were neglecting Noah, that you were unfit. They planned to use that report to take custody and then collect the life insurance afterward. My heart didn't drop. It turned to stone. My son, my child, my entire reason for breathing. I'm done, I said quietly. But this time, it wasn't fear talking. It was resolve. Mara reached into her purse, pulled out a flash drive. This has everything, she said. Texts, deleted messages, photos, audio, screenshots, the full timeline. She pressed it into my hand. You use this, and they're finished. Not they, not anymore. Him. I drove straight to the police station, straight to the officer who handled Emily's original report. I placed everything on his desk and told him the truth, calmly, clearly, and with proof. He asked just one question. Do you feel you're in immediate danger? Yes. Everything moved fast after that. A warrant was issued. Dan was arrested at work. Mara gave a full statement. Emily was taken in for questioning. CPS cleared me completely. The life insurance policy was frozen. Noah was placed in emergency protective custody with me. Dan didn't rage when they cuffed him. He just looked shocked, like he truly believed I'd never fight back. Emily sobbed as the officers approached her. He said this was the only way, she kept crying. But lies don't survive fluorescent police lights. Mara handed everything over. Every message, every threat, every plan. She wasn't innocent, but she was done being controlled. That night, I sat at home watching Noah sleep. Safe, protected, mine. A week later, the detective called. All 3 will be charged. You're safe now. Safe. A word I hadn't felt in years. I sat on the same bed where all of this began and finally exhaled. No more secrets, no more lies, no more pretending. My life wasn't ending. It was starting over. People think betrayal breaks you, but the truth is, betrayal wakes you up. And sometimes the people who try to bury you end up planting you. Because I didn't just survive this. I came back smarter, stronger, and with a life I finally deserved.